In a world marred by conflict and suffering, there often arises a beacon of hope, a guiding light that extends a helping hand to those in need.
Ta wurin wannan na samu na siya adadu guda biyu. A wurin ne na samu ina biyan kudin yarinya na da tana can gidan waya.
This is the story of the Halita Care initiative, a transformative force that emerged in the year 2009, dedicated to trauma care, peace building, and providing relief materials to those affected by adversity, including widows and orphans.
Agape Widows Foundation didn't start as an NGO. I started just like the normal pastor's wife. I witnessed mothers losing their husbands and how widows struggle with their children. Then in 2009, I left my job and started a school where I took widows' children and gave them scholarship. So we continue doing that, and one day one of my mommies visited me, and she was impressed by what I did, and she asked me if I would want to start an NGO on widows. I didn't understand that very well, but she guided me and put me through. We started the journey in 2010, and we left Abuja that same 2010 to Makurdi, and the NGO got registered properly with CAC in 2015. I continue with the ministry God gave me for widows while in Makurdi. And at every point, God raised a very strong support system for me. When I started in Abuja, my husband was there for me, and we left to Makurdi. He continued to support me. Then God raised another mother, Dickness Kinde Lori, who gave me a very strong support financially. I left my job. I was not working, but she was always there to support financially, morally. And we continue with the widows support, and not really trauma, because I was not in a trauma counselor then, but we just talk, and we were giving support materially and emotionally. And in 2016, we left Makurdi to Jos. I continue with the ministry, and Mommy Lori was there, Dickness Bagaya was there, and I continued. Then in 2019, I got certified as a trauma counselor in Rwanda and did other courses. We render help to people who are traumatized. You know what is going on in the country. Virtually every state is going through one thing or the other. Some are going through insurgencies. So many things, I can't count them, especially in Nigeria. So we're trying to give people awareness on trauma and to help them to get healed from trauma.
The loss of a loved one, betrayal from family and friends, or loss of properties, or even the loss of your health. Some of you are traumatized because you have terminal diseases. So yana faruwa bisa ga abubuwan da suka same mu. Wani lokaci domin yan uwa da abokanai da mazaje da mata da muka rasa.
Then to give relief materials, because the poverty is at the increase every day, to attempt to help with material things.
Kafa ne da wake, sannan kowace tana da manja.
And we also help people to stay in peace and other trainings on peace. And I think that's what we're trying to do, to just give help and support where we can.
You have taken away a lot of sorrow, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma by what we have come to do. So we appreciate God for your life, and we are wishing you more better years ahead in Jesus' name. Amen.
Idan kuna ana murna ne ba za a gan ku ba. Kowa zai ta wanzar ba abin da zai shi. Amma abin ya damu ku. Ki ku tuna cewa to daga cikin abin da Allah ya baki ke ma ga lokaci yayi nake sai maka. To mun gode. Mun gode. Mun gode za ku je cikin salama. Je a cikin sa'a. Je a cikin albarka. Allah kare ku. Allah kare ku.
I think one very strong experience that remains fresh in my heart was when we visited an IDP camp. We took some relief materials to them. And on reaching there with food stuff and all of that, the people started crying. For us, why are they crying? We were coming with food stuff. So we were confused. But later on, the leader of that IDP camp explained to us why they were crying. They exhausted all they had. And they were just waiting for the worst to happen. And they just trusted God, and we came right on time with food. And that really made them to start crying.
Divine appointments, several of them. I remember sometime in August 2020 when Zangom Kataf was attacked. I simply just took the pictures and I sent to Teach to Transform. When they saw the pictures, we had a Zoom meeting and everyone was crying. And that was how funds were mobilized and they sent to us via Agape. And we mobilized resources, we mobilized relief and visited several of these communities. And I can tell you, it's difficult for me to recount the experiences because you go to places where people just want to hear, to see people come to them. Apart from the food and other relief materials that you bring to them, the fact that they know that they are not alone. Because these are people suffering persecution, and they see that these people are coming to us to share with us in our time of pain. Some of the times you sit down for close to an hour or more, and you are not able to speak. For me, what we see in the book of Job, where his friends came and spent the first 3 days just crying and not saying a word, it came live, or it has always come live in various interventions when we go. Sometimes you just sit with the people and they don't even get to speak. You just cry with them. And then by the time you now open the boxes you brought, food, clothing, and you see joy bubble.
All of these achievements wouldn't have been made without the gracious support of our partners like Multiplying Hope. God also brought our way Teach to Transform, TTT, ably led by Dr. Tom some years back.
TTT is a very strong support system that God brought our way. in 2019 when my husband traveled to US in 2018.
Well, TTT is simply Teach to Transform. It's an organization based in Louisville, Kentucky, the United States of America. And it finds expressions across the world. In 2018, I went to the US to do some study at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. And I met a very wonderful woman. I simply call her Mom Judy. Her name's Judy Kaufman. And we got talking, and she just took interest in me and said she would want me to meet a group of missionaries. And then she took me to this very beautiful and very warm family, Tom and Karen McKegney. They lead Teach to Transform. Tom is a medical practitioner, and he has around him medical practitioners and missionaries who meet in his house weekly for Bible studies. And then Teach to Transform is committed to going across the world, teaching people basic health care, checking vital signs and healing wounds and other things. And behind that is the gospel of Christ.
I see Halita Care diversifying in issues of relief materials. I see Halita Care initiative bringing peace to the society, bringing resilience in people. People are having resilience to face the challenges of the country. People who will be willing to move on despite their issues or problems of the past.
So I would say that Halita does not have the past, but the Halita has the future. We don't have too many stories to tell of the past, though there are several stories like I have narrated. But I'll tell you something, as I look to the future, I see Halita written in the future everywhere. Halita will find expression in humanitarian work. Halita will find expression in peace work, because my wife is a peace agent. I'm also being trained in that direction. Halita will find expression in providing relief to victims of crisis. Halita will find expression in, of course, trauma healings and trauma counseling. Halita, just as the name Halita implies, God's creation, you cannot limit or even quantify the extent to which Halita will go in meeting needs. So we are just open to the future. We are just open to God to see Him use us to do whatever He wants to do. And I tell you, we are going to be training a whole lot of people, equipping them and enlisting them into the space of being companions in this ministry. And so I welcome everyone that feels called in this ministry. If you feel the burden, you are called to reach out to people, to counsel people, to talk to people. Halita Foundation, Halita Care Initiative will be very much available to equip people, to train people, and to send you out. But like I said, crisis comes every day. It appears as if our world is tearing apart every day. And I think that is why God is raising Halita at this time. And we are set, ready to run with God. And the future is there for us, for the taking.